What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snub here, and this is 20 Minute Wrestling Podcast. Welcome back to another week. It's brought to you by thescenesnobs.com, where we have tons of content going on at all times. Go check out our podcasts, our video reviews, and so much more, and more coming every week. So look forward for you guys to check it out. But yeah, let's get into it. So last week was kind of a lackluster week in wrestling in some regards. But in others, it was not. And we'll get to that. But so just so you guys know, when you're, if you like what we talk about, you like 20 Minute Wrestling Podcasts going on, make sure you're giving us a like and subscribe. We are on SoundCloud, we're on Acast, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play. We're all out there. We're on the YouTube channel, of course, where you can watch the videos. Great content going on every week. We're going to have more guests coming on. Like I said, we got 7 shows, soon to have 8, and then a 9th will be coming in a couple months. All at thescenesnobs.com. Everything's there. You can go right there, check it all out, and enjoy. With that being said, we are sponsoring a great film festival coming out in March, and it is right here in Winchester, Virginia, at the Alamo Draft House in Winchester. It is the Lost Weekend 13 Film Festival. So go check that out. There's some tickets still available. It's on from March 19th to the 22nd. 44 films. $40 weekend pass can get you into all the films and the festivities. We are a proud sponsor, so you'll see our name up there, along with so many other great sponsors. And so definitely go check that out. With that being said, so again, I kind of talked about it being a lackluster week. Not much happened in the way of WWE. Especially NXT. NXT was just not as strong. I'm wondering, honestly, if it's getting to a point where they hear what's going on, because this week AEW had a pretty big match, and they've been talking about it for weeks now, and I wonder if NXT is just trying not to compete on those days. Like, I don't want to say not compete, but, maybe they are competing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, we're not going to win the ratings this week, so let's maybe not go crazy. But then again, they also just had one of their best, pay-per-views wrestling has put out so far. Wrestle Kingdom was probably the biggest this year so far, but that NXT pay-per-view was one of the best I've definitely seen from WWE in a long time. But also, it's just a fantastic all around card. Like, it was great from everything. And we talked about that in the last podcast. So if you want to, it's from the Takeover Portland. So I cannot wait for the next Takeover. There's lots of stuff they're setting up. So I kind of think this week would have been a rest week. We come back and do what we have to do. Plus, they knew they were going up against Cody, going up against Wardlow in the first ever a steel cage match in AEW, which I will get to. I want to talk about that in just a few moments, but kind of want to cover the basis of WWE. So, Raw is just, it's been getting better as a show, story-wise, but still, it's kind of feels like predictable and the same old things each week. We're not seeing, they're building up Drew McIntyre pretty good, but I feel like they could do so much more. Now, I understand he's going up against Brock, coming up at WrestleMania, but I'm tired of the teasing of Brock. This is actually the first one Brock didn't show up to, I think, this year. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure this is like the only one he hasn't shown up to yet. So, watching Drew McIntyre, but he was against Paul Heyman, kind of sparring against Paul Heyman on mics. But I feel like just don't give him squash matches. Give him people who are kind of under. I know MVP came out, but MVP, come on. MVP at his time, and he was a lackluster character back in the day. Like, he was really a jabroni back in the day. So, what are we doing here? You're pulling out this old man to go against Drew McIntyre because Brock can't make it this week. Give Brock a work. Give him something. Have him work a rivalry leading up, and see where that plays out and that goes. I mean, he's already guaranteed for WrestleMania, and Brock's not losing it, until that time. Maybe he'll lose it at WrestleMania, but but he's not losing it before, so we know that's set. Let that happen. So give Drew something to do in between. Stop giving him these pointless things. I think you're really making people tired on him, honestly, and I don't want to see that happen because Drew McIntyre is a great character, and I'm kind of over it. I know over the squash matches, there's a lot of people getting squash matches lately, and even Rowan and Aleister Black went at it, and Rowan was a squash match for him. It was a little bit better than there have been of late, but this is what we're getting from Raw. We're either getting guys who are getting squash matches, or we're getting the same matches over and over again. And I'm sorry, but Seth Rollins, he had what could be a cool thing going. I like the Monday Night Messiah. It was fine. We'll see where it goes, if it gets better, but it's kind of turning into the Dark Order a little bit. It's like they're taking a page out of AEW's book. And I'm not digging it. I'm really not. He's no Undertaker, the Dark Order thing, they say it's getting played out, but I think they're building up perfectly. And I like that they're building up to an Exalted One, and we'll see what happens. We'll see who that is. I thought it was going to be Matt Hardy, but more on that in a second. But I just don't like what they're doing there. SmackDown has just been ridiculous. I'm not enjoying it at all. Every time I turn it on, it's again the same matches. The tag teams they don't know how to work the tag teams, especially on that show. They know how to work them better on Raw than they do on SmackDown. And you're building up, okay, so now it's going to be Bray and Goldberg. Yay. I don't care. And from what I understand, the speculation is that it's going to be Bray and Goldberg probably at the next pay-per-view or two. Build that, and then Bray will beat Goldberg, and then that will create Roman versus Bray. That's fine. Whatever. But I just don't care about either of those characters right now. They've done nothing to make me care about them. So where do we go from here? So if they end up at WrestleMania going after each other, and Roman will probably win and win the belt and whatever, but I just don't care about anything that's going on there. So that's just how I'm feeling. I know I'm down, and I'm a little tired, a little sick, and just a little annoyed. I was like, because I'm watching good wrestling in other places, and WWE is just not getting together, except with the exception of NXT. NXT's got it together; it's doing pretty well. But I hear they're going to be doing call-ups after WrestleMania again. So who are we going to lose? I think Gargano and Ciampa are safe, but are we going to lose Keith Lee, which needs to be in there a little bit longer? I think he could build a bigger name for himself down there and then come up with some power, instead of getting lost in a shuffle if he moves up to the main roster. But anyway, I don't care about the Becky Shayna stuff right now. I can't wait for the match. I think the match will be good, but the build-up has just been lame on the promos. I heard they're going to go to unscripted promos soon. I hope so. But then we're just going to see what everybody's made of at that point. Does everybody have what it takes to give unscripted promos? I think Becky does, but I don't think everybody does. And we're going to find that out sooner or later. And if you're not good at unscripted promos, you're not going to go far. So we'll see who does make it and who does. So with AEW, they're really kicking butt. And the thing I love about that is they've just building up. Everything is cultivating and coming to a head soon. And I'm anxious to see what happens with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega's relationship with the Bucks, because it's going to lead to the Bucks won won the match this week, which was the Battle Royal to see who the number one contender was. So they're going up against Omega and Hangman. And I think it's at Revolution. I have to double check. But so, you've been building a good story there, and now it's here, and we're going to see what happens, and it's going to be exciting. I'll tell you that much right now. So I can't wait to see what happens there. I really think it's going to be the Bucks winning, and it's going to be the end of Hangman Page. He's going to turn on all of them. I mean, he's kind of turning on the Bucks now as it is, but I think he's going to finally jump ship over to a heel and take out Omega, and then they'll build a rivalry there, which will be awesome. Otherwise, we had Nyla Rose is still a powerhouse champion as a female champion. I'm loving that. A lot of people didn't seem to like it. She's a better version of Nia Jax. That's what she is. She's a better version of Nia Jax. She has the attitude of what Tamina tries to play off, and she has the size and dominant nature of Nia Jax without the whininess. So I dig it. I'm all in on her. I think it was great having Riho having a small champ for a while. And if they can build that back up where she can get her shot again, great. But otherwise, Nyla Rose is just killing it right now. But now we have the first steel cage match. And the Moxley thing is it's getting bigger and bigger and better and better. I love him against the Inner Circle right now. Just had to say that because there is nothing for the Inner Circle to do right now. It has to be Moxley. Moxley has the charisma to take on all of them. I wish they would let him on the mic a little bit more because he's a funny dude. His promos have been good. So, it just kind of sucks that it's been more fight than talk. I wish they'd give him a little more to do. However, I am enjoying just where it's going and who they're introducing into it and where it's going to go from there. So, I'm wondering if Mox might win the belt at Revolution. And if he does, I'd be okay with that. I mean, that's almost a year of Chris Jericho. But if Chris Jericho wins, I'm good with him staying for a whole year. Even more as champion. He's a great heel champ. I would hate to see him lose any heat that he has on him right now. And he's helped build this company immensely as the champion. So, but if Mox wins, that would be cool. Turn of events too. So, and I think that would put a big target on his back from the Inner Circle, which would be even better to keep that going. Then we have Cody, and now all stipulations were like he wants to fight MJF for MJF turning on him at Full Gear. MJF being the best heel in the business right now, in my opinion, best mic man in the business. Cody, a very close second, has been doing amazing. So, with that, you have so MJF gives some stipulations to Cody, like if you want to wrestle me, you have to do this, and he had to take 10 lashes with the belt. Did that 2 weeks ago. That was great. Put him over big time. Brought on so much heat from the fans for MJF. It was just done perfectly. They already started setting up because he got attacked by a fan, but it wasn't a fan. So, they're already setting him up for MJF for after the match to get into a rivalry, have some beef with somebody. But then another stipulation was Wardlow, who is MJF's right-hand man, and Cody had to have a steel cage match, the first ever steel cage match. And it was Cody's hometown, so everything was just great for this. The great setup, got him over perfectly. They brought it down. It was just a terrific match. Now, JR said something during it that none of that over the steel cage. It's pinfall or submission. It's not whoever's feet touch out. Now it's a WWE thing, and I never minded that. My problem with it was that you couldn't submit or you couldn't pull off a submission or a pinfall on top of having the climb over. It was just the climb over and whoever's feet touch first. That was fine in the 80s. It was a little more cartoonish. I remember one of the first ones was Hogan versus Paul Orndorff. And they were tied. They tied to touch the floor, and it was just... But now we're getting to, and JR was just like, this is the way it should be. It should be just pinfalls and submissions. And I'm okay with that. I definitely think that it's a much more interesting match if you can win by pinfall, if you can win by submission, and if you can climb out. Because you can build a really cool heel by allowing them to climb out. They can pull on some heat to them if you let them climb out. But you can build a really good hero a really good babyface by also having pinfall and submission available. And it's that locked in with me mentality that it could be. It could be this thing where it's like, you're locked in here with me and you're not going anywhere. And that's how it was with the pinfall submission. But I would have dug just leaving it open, just leaving the climb out open for future. It didn't have to be for this. But anyway, that's just a hang up. That's nothing big. But you did have a very cool match. And Cody pulled it out and was terrific. And I loved every minute of this match. And he's dominating right now. And it's crazy to me to think that he took away the chance to get the belt. So, and when he did that, back when he had a stipulation with Jericho, that if he loses, he'll never go for the belt again. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, you're never going to get over as a top babyface. He is the top babyface in that company. He knows what he's doing. He has incredible writers behind him, and they're pulling it off. And his charisma, his mic skills, just everything he's doing. He knows wrestling, so he's doing it right. Should never doubted the guy. It's just been fantastic all the way through. And he's the most over guy in the company, and he can't become champion. And I really think he's going to stick with that for a while. I don't think that's going to be a thing where it's like forever he'll never go for the championship. Something will happen, and he will. He'll have to become champion at some point. You can only be so over as a babyface before you have to get the championship, and because you deserve it. And your fans are going to watch this and say, get the championship. We need you to get the championship. You are the hero. Come to the promised land and rep the company. So I think eventually he will get it. But right now, I just think he's putting himself in some great storylines, and he's killing it with everyone. So I'm really enjoying every bit of it. So yeah, we had a great week of AEW wrestling, kind of a boring week of WWE wrestling. I hope it bounces back with NXT next week. I definitely want to see where it goes. I really think this was probably a let's not go crazy because we're just coming off a great pay-per-view. But also AEW is doing their first ever Steel's Cage match, and that's, it's kind of, don't try to fight it if you don't have to, sort of thing. But they are still a great show. NXT and AEW are the two best shows right now. Everything else is just kind of fun, and like I said, even with Raw, it's been a lot of fun with that too. But I hope they kind of build up the storylines and fix it up a little bit. And I think Paul Heyman can. I just think he needs a little bit more power. He needs to make a little bit more decisions. And honestly, I really think taking scripted promos away, like has been speculated, and just let them go. Just let them go. And then see who makes it and see who falls. That's the way it used to be. I would love to see that go this time. So that being said, this is a show. I want to know what you guys thought. Did I miss anything? I know I didn't talk about Randy Orton and Matt Hardy that much. It's because I'm kind of sad to see Matt Hardy go. It would be great if he shows up in AEW. It would be great if he's the Exalted One. But I just don't think they're doing him fair in these last couple of weeks. Especially, I was kind of jaded because they promised a no-holds-barred match between he and Randy Orton, who's doing fantastic right now, and we didn't even get it. It was a dupe. They fleeced us. So I didn't really want to talk about that. It was because I was kind of annoyed. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below and definitely or message me. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I am @TheSceneSnob. On Facebook, I am @TheSceneSnob. Check out thescenesnobs.com for tons of great content, old shows, things like that. We have new stuff coming up every day. Some great stuff coming up. We have our John Carpenter Appreciation Week, which is coming up the first week of March. So everything's going to have like a theme of John Carpenter. Then we're going to have, and we also have our new show coming out that week, Behind the Box, which is the Video Store Degenerates. Myself, Rob Gosher, we're going to be sitting there, we're going to be talking, and we have a very fun first episode planned for it. So make sure you check that out. So if you're a video store geek and you love horror movies, things like that, cult classics, the whole nine, we cover that stuff. That's what that show is going to be about. Again, we are a proud sponsor of the Lost Weekend 13 over at the Alamo Draft House in Winchester. It's a great film festival, 44 films, $40 for a weekend pass. You can see the festivities or any of the films. So go check that out now. If you're in the area, our Psycho Cinema group, which I am a part of, is showing The Thing on March 3rd. Go check that out. If you can't, you can get tickets on the Alamo. That's at the Alamo, Winchester, Virginia. And so much more coming up. We have Psychorama coming up in April. We'll be covering and sponsoring. So just some really cool stuff going on. And also take requests. So like if you have any requests, stuff you want to see me review or talk about or anything like that, please let me know and I'll be happy to do it. So until next time, I am the Scene Snob. This is the 20-Minute Wrestling Podcast presented by thescenesnobs.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye.